Hey, what's up, everybody? It is your girl JoJo, and I'm here with the review for season 2, episode 3, right? Of Never Ever Met. Yes, I know I'm way behind the ball here, and I'm just now starting the show, but I meant to do last week. I cannot remember what happened. I think it just got to be too late in the week. Oh, I had to file a YouTube appeal, y'all. They were threatening to take me off the partner program because they said I had done something wrong, so I was scared to post any content until that was cleared up, and that got cleared up on this past Thursday, actually. So I was just like, forget it. I'll just do the brand new episode when it comes on. So here I am. Happy Sunday. Are you glad that he rose on today? Hey, hallelujah. Hey, Bobo Shy. So I hope you guys had a wonderful Sunday. If you don't celebrate, I hope you just had a wonderful Sunday. And if you do, I hope you all are happy in the Lord, okay, and that he rose on the third day. Don't get me to preaching up in here. But I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing good today. I am doing well. Let's get into what happened on Never Ever Met. Okay, I'm going to be going in random order. I think we kind of pick up where we left off with Alicia and Irvin. Y'all know Irvin was trying to talk to her. She was feeling threatened. They end up having a conversation later on where I don't even know if anything gets accomplished. Alicia, she's very exhausting. She talks a lot about nothing. It feels like she's rambling on and on about her feelings and her trauma and her illness and all these other things. Irvin, I think he's trying to communicate how he feels, but he's getting very frustrated with her, which is understandable. I'm not saying she's wrong for having her experiences and feeling the way she feels about certain things, but just seems to have so many feelings that don't necessarily work in being in a relationship with somebody. Like, she has to let some guards down eventually. Also, I just don't think she likes him that much. I think he likes her way more. And so he's trying to force the situation to work, but it doesn't seem like she is A, attracted to him, and B, attracted or drawn to his personality at all. And I don't know. I don't enjoy talking about them because I just don't think I don't think she likes him. So there's that. But later on, they're going to go to a trauma therapist, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Actually, let's just move into that right now, just so we can get it over with. So I believe their conversation with the trauma therapist actually happens after the activity, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now because, again, it's a waste of time. Even the trauma therapist was looking like, I don't know what the hell these two talking about. Alicia, the trauma therapist asks a specific question about their communication, to which Alicia just goes on and on about her trauma and her triggers and her illness and how she felt around him. That's not really the question that was asked, but that's how she begins to answer it. Irvin says that he does agree about their communication, and he does agree that they're having some issues understanding each other, but they're trying to get to the root of what that is. The trauma therapist wants them to realize, like, everybody has their stuff, including Irvin, including Alicia. Everybody has their things. And yes, sometimes they are going to trigger each other, but you all have to figure out how you're going to communicate around these things so that you're not constantly staying in this circle of misunderstanding each other. Irvin mentions that he does sometimes feel gaslit by her, and I think that's an accurate description of what she's doing. I don't think she's doing it on purpose. I think she's just A, she's very particular, and B, I won't even think she's not ready to date. I think she does not like him that much. And instead of just saying, you know what, I don't really like you that much. I'm trying, but I don't like you that much. It's hard to say that to somebody, right? So instead, she's trying to look for reasons to be irritated by him so they don't have to have a lot of intimacy, because eventually, what's going to be your reason for not warming up and getting close to him? Even when they do the activity, she's like, can you back up a little bit? These are sex positions. He's going to be up on you. So you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like she's trying to force it, and she's not really doing a good job. And I don't know if Irvin doesn't see it, or if he just likes her that much that he is willing to be this frustrated, but I'm okay with both of them leaving. I felt like Alexis and Chris had a really decent conversation. I thought it was going to go left. I didn't know how Alexis was going to respond to him. Did I say his name right? Is his name Chris? But he talks to her about her control issues, and he knows he's called her bossy on the phone and whatnot, but he really got to see it live in action. And I don't like that. You know, you don't have to come at me like that. You don't have to be in control of every situation. That really made me feel some type of way. She apologizes, and he asks her, do you know what you're apologizing for? And she was like, yeah, I want to apologize for triggering you and making you feel a certain type of way. That was not something I should have done. I definitely don't want to be engaging with you in that manner. I want us to be good with each other. So their last conversation didn't go well, but this conversation went well. He apologized as well for, I think, the way he walked away in their last conversation, like how he left it. And I thought it was mature. I thought it was a good conversation. I think they have some more hurdles to jump over for sure, because she just does have that kind of personality. And they end up giving each other a hug and kiss, and it was nice. I thought it was a real adult and mature conversation. So that went well. This isn't going to end well. Jared, these names, I'm trying to remember them all. An old girl. Okay, miss, I just had a baby girl and he just had a baby as well. Child, these two is a mess. I wish I would have reviewed the last 2 episodes strictly for them, because talk about some drama, right? But this isn't going to work. Okay. He's sitting down talking to her about their situation and how they got to work out. Well, she actually brings up the fact that they have to work out logistics, right? And he's just like, okay, and how many bedrooms does your house have? Because I only got 2 or 3 or something like that. And she was like, well, my house is pretty big. I have 6 bedrooms, and I guess y'all gonna need it because between the 2 of y'all, do y'all not have 6 kids or 5? I don't know. It's a whole bunch of kids. I'm not keeping count of all these churn. But they got a lot of kids in between. I know for sure he has 2. So he's just like, wow, yeah, okay, well, I'm with it. I'm kind of over Columbia, so I'll just look out in Dallas, see if any schools are hiring. I said, you can get a job just like that, brother. And yeah, I'm over it. So Dallas might be a nice move for me. Are the kids coming too, or are you leaving the kids? Where are the kids? Are they in South Carolina? It's always interesting to me if people, like, not saying he is, but it's always interesting when people can just up and move away from their kids. Like, oh yeah, I'm ready to make a move. My child, small thing to a giant. I can move. I'll see them once every 3 months. I'll see them once a quarter. Whatever. So they go out and they play a game as couples. And I now realize why all of these games are like touchy or sexually charged. These people have been on the phone for months, if not years. It ain't really too much talking they need to do. Now they need to be seeing if they gonna work in a relationship and, if they are comfortable with each other physically. I'm guessing that's why they do so many of these games. And a lot of the games involve communication as you're doing these things. So I guess that's the rhyme or reason behind it. What do y'all think? But yes, the games are always very, very sexy. So perhaps that's why. So they play a Kama Sutra game where they have to get in these positions. So not only do you need to get in there quickly, but you also need to do it right. So it's about who does it first and who does it right. So they pick out their first 2 people, and whoever wins the battle will get to pick the person to challenge them. So Clay and Tatiana are knocking it out the park in the beginning. They getting all the positions right. Not only that, Clay rubbing on booty and looking into her eyes and, pushing her legs real far back. It's getting real freaky sneaky. You know what I'm saying? It's the things is happening, right? And so everybody is just like, dang, y'all doing the most. Like, y'all real freaky with y'all this, y'all that. Tatiana does say that sometimes it feels like Clay is putting on a little bit of a show in front of people. She's not 100% sure how she feels about that. But overall, she does look like she's enjoying herself. They're winning until they're not. After that, Brittany and, y'all forgive me with these names, Brittany and her man, the one that tells the jokes a lot, they actually end up coming in and doing the last couple of positions well. So they knock them out the challenge. They actually do very well communicating how to get in them. And, of course, old boy is full of jokes, but they end up winning a date to get a couples massage. So they are very excited about that. Other honorable mentions during the game, Alicia and Irvin were awkward. Cinco and doggone it, Cinco and his lady, they did okay. Do she need glasses? I mean, I know the sun was in her eye, but it seemed like she was always her face would be like, what? All the time. Chris and Alexis were funny to me. Those 2 are hilarious, but Chris was like, okay, just give me the opportunity for me to be in control so she could see some of my power. So he get her in a position and he just keep bouncing her up on him, bouncing her. Ooh, needless to say, them 2 didn't win, but he's strong, ain't he? He was holding it up. But yes, we have our winners, and they're going to get their couples massage. And now it is time for one couple to do the cooking. But before we get to that, let's talk about another secret that was revealed. Okay, so y'all know we've learned that Clay does have a daughter, right? Now, he explains it that his ex-fiance moved across country, and then next thing you know, she ends up at his house with the baby. Now, there's some things in between that I'm sure happened that I do have questions about because ex-fiance, when did y'all last sleep together? When did she come back? Were y'all getting back together? What was going on here? Are you not sure that this is your baby, or do you already know it's your baby? Like, I don't know. It's some holes in the story, but either way, he needs to tell Tatiana about it, and he knows he needs to tell her. Out of all the people to ask for advice, he decides to ask Jared when he should tell her. Yeah, apparently the Jared, you'll know when the time is right. When is that, Jared? But you do need to find the right time to tell her. I personally think production was being messy and told Tatiana to come outside around a certain time that Clay was talking. She definitely overheard something. And she's asking him point blank, like, do you have something you need to tell me? Because I heard you talking. And Clay is just like, nah, there's some things that I do want to say, but when the time, he's beating around the bush, and she's just like, something ain't right. Like, he ain't keeping it player about something. And he ends up telling her that, he loves her, that he's in love with her. Whether it's true or not, I don't think he is, but whether he feels that way or not, it was still manipulative because he knows that's not what he really wanted to say. He actually needs to tell her about this baby. But Tatiana just got her good eye on the situation. She was like, that's not, okay, I hear you, but nah, like, it's something else going on, and I'm gonna find out. Okay, so it's time for Brandon and Kiki to cook dinner. Y'all know one of the couples have to cook dinner. Kiki is downstairs asking everybody to do her certain favors, like, can you take this out? Can you do that? Can you do this? I'm about to go upstairs real quick. I'll be back. She gets upstairs and she's got some ice and some water. She can't pull herself together. Brittany comes up to check on her because, of course, everybody else is downstairs getting dinner started, which is her and Brandon's responsibility. So they're helping Brandon. And Kiki says she doesn't feel well. She just can't manage to cool down. She's overheating. So Brittany, I hope this is her name, y'all. I'm effing up the names. Sends Brandon upstairs. Brandon comes upstairs, asks Kiki what's wrong, and Kiki is just like, I'm hot, I'm overheating. Brandon asks her, do you think this might be related to you drinking the other night? So flashback to the other night, Kiki was, we saw from the clips of last week, she was falling. They ended up having to get her on the couch. She was stumbling over herself. She had a little too much. I think right now she's probably dehydrated and hungover. And instead, I'm not sure why she just doesn't say I'm hungover. Brandon's just like, do you think it's because of the drinks? Do you think that might be why you are overheating? And she was just like, no, but I could use one right now. Like a drink would help, basically, I think she was saying. But it doesn't take a wise man to know that she is probably just hungover. Kiki needs to say that. Brandon is just like, okay, well, they down there helping me with dinner. You get yourself together. I'm gonna be downstairs making dinner. That's my responsibility. So he goes back downstairs. Of course, she's upset that he mentioned her drinking again. So she's irritated by it. They get into, I wouldn't say an argument, but they definitely get frustrated with each other in that moment. And so later on, once Kiki is feeling up to it, she's outside talking to Brittany again. Meanwhile, everybody else is in the kitchen making the meals. So it looks like you outside chit-chatting by the pool, talking about you overheating, and we in here cooking, which is your responsibility. But what she's actually doing, she's outside asking Brittany, should she even go in the kitchen? Because Brandon said, other people were already helping him. Well, yes, Kiki, you absolutely should go in the kitchen. You shouldn't be asking somebody else if you should or should not go in the kitchen. So, Kiki, my biggest problem with her is not so much her drinking as much as she needs to grow up and be able to have an adult conversation. You don't have to go ask everybody what you should do. You don't have to go tell everybody how you feel. You can go to the person. You can say how you feel. You can ask the questions. You just go in the kitchen. Don't make it more complicated than it needs to be. But Brandon is not Now, this is where we might fall out, y'all. I don't really feel the warm and fuzzies about Brandon either, but I'm going to go into that. But my biggest issue with Kiki right now is like the constant side conversations with everybody else is making her come off babyish. And I want her to woman it up a little bit. Now, I forgot to mention, Brandon is also getting advice as well, mainly in reference to Kiki's drinking. The night before, he did talk to Alexis about it, and if whether or not she does have a drinking problem. Like, what do you think about it in regards to the drinking? So, of course, he's getting his advice as well. I didn't think it was bad for him to go get advice about the situation. It's just coming off to me that maybe he would do better with a woman that don't drink. That might be more up his alley. I don't know if he doesn't drink or maybe he just drinks very minimally, but maybe he needs to find somebody that does the same. I'm not sure if I think Kiki has a drinking problem, but she definitely don't hold herself up well when she is. Now, that's one thing about me. You can drink as much as you want, but you need to be able to hold yourself, like, especially if if you're a thicker girl. You can't be falling and carrying on. I can't do that. I'm not finna throw my back out, picking nobody up. I'm getting off subject, but I'm just saying, if you know you can drink, you got to be able to hold your own. Like me, I wouldn't say I could drink you up under the table, but I can drink. But you ain't never gonna have to carry me out nowhere. I ain't finna be throwing up in your car. I ain't finna be falling out. Like, one, I'm too old for that. And two, I just, most of the time I can handle mine for the most part. So back on subject. When Kiki finally does come in and decide to cook, Brandon immediately is just like, are you dependable? Like, soon as she get to the sink, and she was just like, yes, Brandon, why would you ask me that? Like, I just got in here. Personally, I think Brandon was irritated. And instead of, okay, this is I told you my issues with Kiki. My issues with Brandon is that whole soft lover boy thing he was giving off the first episode. I don't really think that's who he is. I think that's a part of him, but I also think he has a quick button as well. I'm not ready to say fully why I think that is. I'm going to wait a couple of episodes, but I definitely think he's quick to like get irritated. When Kiki came into the kitchen, if you wanted her help, I don't think the thing to do would have been like, are you dependable in front of everybody? Of course, somebody gonna shut down. Are you trying to embarrass me? Like, this is a conversation that we could have had elsewhere. I'm here now. What is it that you needed me to do? If you thought I was outside just trying to skirt the issue and be lazy, I really didn't know if you wanted me in here or not. That was why I didn't come in here. But that conversation doesn't get to happen. Kiki, who's not good at communicating her damn self, shuts down once again. And I don't know, really just the whole thing isn't good. I don't think either one of them are the best at communicating. And I don't think Brandon is like as sweet as some people think he is, because I definitely have seen some of the comments. I don't know if he's giving like sweet, innocent guy that cares. That's not, I don't know. I'm not 100% ready to say that's what I'm getting off of it. Like I said, I'm gonna wait a couple episodes. So yeah, it doesn't go well. I don't even know if Kiki actually ended up helping make the meal, but like I said, I understand Brandon's frustration. I just don't think that the way that he did it once she did come into the kitchen, I just don't think that was the best way to go about it. And she shuts down, and it's pretty much a shit show for the rest of the night with these two. So Jared is in charge of collecting responses for a little game, and the game is, if this were to end right now and you had to go home with your partner, are you ready to go home with your partner right now? Like, do you accept them as is? There's 4 no's. One undecided, 1 hell to the no, and 2 no's. Oh, a question mark and 1 no. And then there's 8 yeses. So everybody is trying to get to the bottom. Like, who said no? Who said no? Oh my gosh, what did you say? Kiki is over playing pool and talking to everybody else per usual about how she feels and what she should do. We see Brandon in the kitchen, and it looks like he's cleaning up by himself, which again, Kiki, like, whether you're talking to him or not, you have a responsibility in the house. Just do what you're supposed to do. Like, I want her to, she does come off as very babyish. If nothing else, she does do that. So she's in there, and she ends up calling Brandon in eventually because she knows that Brandon wrote no. We find out that she is actually the one who put the question mark. It hurt her feelings that Brandon said no. She can't believe it. And Alicia is just like, I think you need to talk to him. Like, y'all been friends all this time. That's supposed to be your best friend. Just have a conversation. So when she calls Brandon in there, Brandon shut it down. He don't want to talk to her. I don't want to talk about it. How you even see my paper anyway? But no, I don't want to talk about it. I done cleaned up by myself. I done cooked by myself. Not really. You had some help. But I know what you mean. You were supposed to help me cook. I had to get these other couples to help me cook. I ain't really trying to talk to you about it right now. Let's table it. I'm done. Good night. I'm tired. Kiki is upset by that. She says she feels abandoned. Why don't you want to talk to me about it? Well, listen, both of y'all are essentially doing the same thing when it comes to leaving a conversation. Earlier, he wanted to talk. You was over it. You started shutting down. Today, you want to talk. He's over it. He's shutting down. So ain't nothing getting done. Everybody's shutting down. So they have a round table discussion about these two in their business, and they ended up calling Brandon back downstairs because they trying to get the stuff right between the two of them. Brandon says earlier that day he went upstairs to check on Kiki because they asked how this started. He goes upstairs to check on Kiki. Kiki says she was overheating. He asked her if it had anything to do with her drinking, and it pretty much all went left from there. Kiki says, I can't believe that you still bringing up my drinking. Like, why do you keep bringing that up? We off of that. Like, we're clearly over it. I wasn't even going to say nothing else about that. And he was like, you sitting here talking about your drinking is not an issue and it's not a problem. And you sitting here having another drink right now when you were just messed up about drinking earlier. So how are you telling me that it's not a problem? Now, he's loud at this point. Yeah, he's getting loud. And Kiki is just like, this is wine. I said, Kiki, baby. Now, look, I don't know if you got a drinking problem or not, but what I am saying is folks who like to drink a lot do look at wine and beer like it's not real alcohol. How do I know? Because I do that. I'll just be like, what? This is wine, child. Ain't nobody, this Kool-Aid. It's Kool-Aid. I don't think Brandon is wrong to be concerned about her. Again, I think it's a way to talk to people. I think it's a way to deal with people, especially somebody who you think might have an addiction. Her drinking didn't come up the whole time that y'all been on the phone. Like, I mean, I guess not. I'm sure she's not. Maybe she don't. I'm sure she's not drinking during y'all's phone calls, but I don't know. It just seems like this would have come up at some point in time about drinking. I just think he would do better with a woman that don't drink at all. Maybe a glass of wine here and there, because this seems to be very irritating for him. So he's over it, and he was just like, look, if you don't want me to care about you, I can't care more about you than you care about the situation. So if you don't want me to care about you, then I'm off it. I'm not talking about it no more. Mr. Jokey Joke, y'all know which one. I done forgot all these names. Mr. Jokes, Mr. Giggles. He's just like, see, he coming at you like that because he care about you. And I understand that, but you still don't get to talk to it. Like, it's just a way you handle people. It's a way that you deal with people, especially if you want them to be open to talking about you. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, well, he was patient with her all those other times. Was he? He might have been patient, but he always comes off to, let me back up off it, because I know we're going to disagree on this, but he always comes off to me more accusatory than concerned, in my opinion. Kiki is babyish, though. She is a baby. She doesn't communicate well. She shuts down. She talks to everybody else about her problems but the person she's having a problem with. And that can get annoying sometimes. Even when the conversation is over, she's still whining to Tatiana and whoever else will listen. Like, girl, get in your journal and go to bed. Nothing is accomplished there. Nothing is accomplished. Later on, we see the guys go outside. And this is when the episode took a little turn. Okay, so we actually end up finding out that Chris was the one that put hell to the no, because he was like, where we at right now with Alexis? Oh, hell to the no, nah, we ain't ready. Jared actually put F no, that he ain't doing it. And everybody's just like, you put F no? Why? Jared tells us, production, and anybody else who will listen, I've been talking to this girl for a long time, and I'm trying to get me some of that. So 6 kids is crazy. Like, I'm not doing that. But I have put effort and time in, and I just feel like I should get I'm trying to hit that. So whatever I got to do to get to the point of us being intimate with each other is what I'm going to do. But 6 kids, I was never going. I'm not going over there with her and all them kids, and I'm not moving to Dallas. So I don't know what's going to happen next week. I know that this is a show where you have to let stuff play out, but I just do not think it's right for him to be there. Like, you do not want to be, you just told everybody what you're doing and what your game plan is, when just an hour earlier or earlier that day, you obviously lied to this girl about wanting to move forward with her. So I don't really know, y'all. I didn't like it. But I wasn't surprised. I said it from the very first episode, soon as she revealed her situation. Even though he has a new child as well, that doesn't matter. Everybody knows when you're a woman and your kids is with you, it's a man can be off frolicking. He can have a whole new girlfriend, 2 jobs, and not really worry about having kids because he don't have his child day in and day out. When you the mama and you got them kids day in and day out, that is a constant thing that a new man has to be around, and they don't even want to be around their own kids every day, let alone yours. So he don't care. Okay, he don't care. It's different for him. He ain't finna be around all them kids, and now he gonna try to get her in the boom boom room next week, and I hope she don't go for it. But we'll see, y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode of Never Ever Met. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week. Bye.